If you're a sailor, have a passion for kick the ball near the surf, love dazzling sunsets and sugar sand beaches, you'll definitely enjoy a visit to Grand Cayman Island. But if you're a scuba diver, then Grand Cayman is a must for you to visit, for her waters hold some of the finest diving to be found in the entire Caribbean.
Cayman diving in 3 words. Oh boy. Easy, safe, and beautiful.
Awesome is all I can tell you about riding that. It's awesome.
Fabulous. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's such a nice environment. I challenge anyone to find a better place to learn to dive, or if you're a new diver to come in and dive, or even if you're an experienced diver to extend yourself out with the wall divings and whatnot.
There's none of these ripping currents and hope the dive boat picks you up. There's none of this crashing surf to help you, to keep you from getting back onto the boat. It's easy diving.
It's very consistent, and it's very safe, and it's very easy, and it's very reliable.
Cayman is really unique, I think, in the Caribbean, and if not the world, and it's got so many pluses going for it.
Well, it started, we came in 1961. We started out at East End when there was no road, no electricity, no anything, not even the road up there, no water. And so we had to we really pioneered the area.
One of the advantages of diving in the tropics is that most of the Caribbean islands have at least one established professional instructor and guide. He knows where all the best diving spots are, has diving equipment available for rent, and can teach the uninitiated to safely explore the coral reefs. Bob Soto has been in this business for the last 15 years. He started with one set of diving gear and the willingness to put in 65-hour weeks.
Bob Soto's diving did an amazing job. That was their life. That was their work.
I think for a long while there, it was the real reason why people came here. I mean, back in the early days when we had less people visiting, the percentage of people that came here specifically for the diving was much higher. So it actually was extremely important to the economy.
I think that the industry in Cayman has really expanded. We've got so many opportunities now that you didn't really see in the early days. It was a little more challenging to get certified, like go swim 25 laps before you can even, decide if we're going to enroll you. So today there are so many programs for children. Like at age 8, we can take them diving, even though they're 10 feet and one-on-one with an instructor. And they can become full junior open waters at age 10. Cayman has embraced the technical diving world so that technical divers, whether they're on rebreathers or open circuit, can go explore the deep walls and deep shipwrecks of the island. It's just evolved in a way. It's more fun, it's less work, the equipment's better, and it's really open to everybody now, including disabled divers, which we get a lot of, and there's good support in Cayman for it too, and great therapy for them. Divers, by and large, as a generalization, are very environmentally sensitive. This is their playground. They care about it. And they're active in that regard, and they're vocal in that regard, supporting things like the National Conservation Law, getting out there and hunting lionfish that no one else is doing, an invasive species, doing underwater cleanups, beach cleanups, not being passive, being proactive.
The whole reef system is what counts. So a lot of people say, well, what good are fish? We're now finding out that fish are very important to hard corals. We're finding out that as they eat, they're recycling nutrients, and as they drop those nutrients back out after their digestion is done with them, that is what fertilizes the coral.
If we don't do anything about it, it's going to be gone. And I hate to be the last generation that enjoys it, because it is so spectacular and it is so good that it's a crying shame if the next generation doesn't get to enjoy it. My family's grown up, and though they're getting older now, they've grown up and enjoyed the diving community and the diving in Cayman. And I'd certainly like to see that happen for many, many more generations. But you've got to look after it. You can't treat it lightly. You've got to look after your fish population. You can't overfish. You've got to be careful that your divers are well versed on their buoyancy and looking after the reefs and not touching things. There's a lot of little things we can do. No, we don't drop anchors anymore because we've got a great mooring system. So we've done a lot here in Cayman. We've actually led the Caribbean in many of those approaches, but there's always something else we can do.
Dive 365 is all about the 365 dive sites that we have surrounding all 3 Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac. And about 5 years ago, we did a recount and we had 297 dive sites. So we came up with a plan to add 68 new sites to bring the total up to a number where we could have a different dive site for every day of the year. So we went out and added, such a massive amount of new dive sites with permanent public moorings for dive boats to tie up onto. And it's probably the 68 sites. So that's more than a lot of our competing destinations have in total. We added that, new to the destination just within the last 5 years. So it's like a whole new dive destination within itself.
Diving in the sister islands is like a fairy tale, with the exception that your experience is, well, real. We have some of the best wall diving found at Bloody Bay Marine Park, starting at double digits and plunging to thousands of feet. Prolific marine life and great visibility is the norm. Diving in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman is a must-do for any diver or snorkeler's bucket list.
We went out to the wall, and I had never in my life experienced a dive like that. Seeing the edge of that wall and looking down into this abyss, the water clarity, the colors, the warmth, everything, absolutely fantastic. I fell in love with it. I went 2, 3, 4 times a day as much as I could, and fell in love with Cayman. It took me a few years, but I eventually moved here. And the diving was a huge part of it.
Well, it was very exciting. It was a beautiful thing, because I was doing a lot of snorkeling, but then to see it down to 30 or 40 feet now, that was a different thing, and it was beautiful.
It was absolutely spectacular. I've never seen anything like it in my life, and it still rates as one of the best things I've ever seen. Diving here is wonderful.
Here in Cayman, we have a place called Devil's Grotto. And in Devil's Grotto, every few years or so, it is filled with silver sides, which is a combination of anchovies and several species of little things. I call them minnows because they're just tiny fish, but they're not, they're adults.
I don't know that I've got a favourite diving experience. I think there are dive sites that I've always sort of felt really attracted to. I mean, on the Northwest Point, Orange Canyon and Big Tunnels have always been very much favourites. They've got lovely swim-throughs, lots of bright colours, black coral, and nice vertical drop-offs as well. But just going over that wall and swimming out into deep blue water and knowing that there's a couple of thousand feet below you it's a pretty nice buzz.
You go into that array of millions and millions of these small fish that swarm around you, and then you breathe out and they open away from you.
You see different things. Diving in the barrel sponge fields, absolutely incredible.
I'd say the Bloody Bay Wall. That's just magical. Just plain magical.
And Cayman offers just incredible conditions to be able to enjoy the deep walls here.
Come to my island. It is the most fantastic place in the world. That's just how I tell them.